Just waiting for the red bar, per usual. Oh, here we go. All right, sir. Uh-oh. There he is. Can
Hello.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. All right, we are live, and I'm good to go if you are.
I forget, we've been podcasting for so long. I'm forgetting that. No, now people can see us. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's jump in. Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is That's a Crime. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal, we are back for another crime.
Yeah, special crime, because I wore a special shirt just for this recording.
You did. You absolutely did. And today we're breaking down the true crime story of the YouTuber's attempt to spend all night in Target store in 2022. Now, I'm assuming that red shirt means Target?
When I wear this shirt to Target.
Oh, yeah. You're like an employee.
If I'm feeling lonely, I'll be like, no one has talked to me for 2 days. Go to Target, wear this shirt.
Yeah.
Trust me, people will approach you.
It's like wearing a blue polo to Best Buy.
There you go. You can connect with people. You just got to wear the right shirt and be in the right place.
Yeah. Those flash mobs that was like popular maybe a decade ago.
I am so upset that I missed.
You missed the wave.
I never was in one.
I wanted to do a documentary right after I did Strictly Background about flash mobs and talk to a guy that put a book out about flash mobs. It never materialized, but he did this hilarious stunt. He kept sending these people into Best Buy with that outfit on, non-employees. And they got to like 40, 50 people and everyone's just looking around. I was crying. It was so funny. I mean, it's so silly, but
some of these pranks, these challenges are fun and funny, right? They're fun and funny. This one, we'll see.
And that's why I'm glad you wore that, because it is a lighter crime, but it does bring up a lot of other things beneath the surface. And I think this is a wave that's happening. So you missed the flash mob era. Now you're into this challenge era, both of us, all of us. And so much to unpack here. But before we do, Sal, a word from a sponsor.
Absolutely.
A word from our sponsor.
Yes.
Support for That's a Crime is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming and offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And with this exclusive offer, you'll get
20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code thatsacrime at manscaped.com.
Perfect. So first of all, did you see the videos? Because this made the news, as well as this video is a video on these YouTubers' accounts. So I didn't realize how long the second was. It's 25 minutes long. But did you get to see some, all, a little?
Well, the thing I found interesting about this is that, so these are YouTubers. They have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And their video of them doing this crime is on their YouTube channel. And the reason I'm surprised is because I don't say it much, because I don't know, it just sounds weird. I mean, I don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I only have nearly 7. Well, I have 7,000.
You have 7 subscribers.
I have 7,000 subscribers on the Salvador-Los-Angeles channel.
Nice.
So, you see, these people that got 1 million subscribers and all that. So, I'm like, they're over there. Like, I'm like a small fish in a.
Well, they don't have that many. They're not in that realm.
No. But that's the thing is that there's so much scrutiny by YouTube. They take so many videos down.
Oh, I got you. Yes, right.
And yet they have their crime on their channel, and it's sitting right there as we speak. So that's what I find interesting, is that they allowed that.
Well, this is still very recent. I should point out this is 2022, so it's within the last 3 months. Actually, it's even less than that time. So maybe it's a matter of time till they get to it. I was surprised too when I watched the video, and I watched the whole thing to make sure. And there's some discrepancies and a lot to get into. But just upon hearing the headlines, Sal, reading the headlines, I was immediately reminded of the 1991 movie Career Opportunities, written by John Hughes, not directed. It's about a dorky kid, Jim, whose first day on the job as the overnight janitor discovers Josie, who had fallen asleep at the store, Target, and the late night adventures begin. And that includes the Target being robbed by Nestor and company. It stars Frank Whaley, Jennifer Connelly, She's amazing in the movie. No relation to me, Jason Connell. Big difference. And Dermot
she has a
Mulroney.
Y. She has a Y on the end.
She has that Y on there. My family either never had the Y or lost the Y. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny that there's a Target store, an overnight thing. So I watched the video. They never mentioned it. They're younger. It's a younger, you can imagine the YouTubers doing pranks like this are half our age. Sure. But it was just funny, like, wow. Cause that movie, you know, she's like roller skating around and he's janitoring. And it's like love at first sight. That's their, you know, cute meet cute, whatever. Yeah. But really fun. It's okay. The movie could have been better. But it's funny, Sal, that Target and crime seem to have a weird relationship, like career opportunities. In a previous episode of ours, the knife-wielding woman stabs 4 in a Target store in 2010. It's like, what's going on here?
Jason, that store that you and I talked about, that's the Target store in West Hollywood on the corner of Santa Monica Boulevard and La Brea.
Which we've both been to countless times.
Which I was just at the other day. If I'm passing by, I'll stop. I'll stop. If I pass by Target, I'm going to stop. It's just as simple as that. So I was passing by. I stopped. But we talked about that store in our episode about the knife-wielding woman. Just yesterday, a Facebook friend of mine posted that there was some sort of incident. Hey, everybody, stay away from the Target store on La Brea and Santa Monica. Some sort of incident involving a possibly armed assailant. And this was just yesterday.
What?
So yeah, that Target store also, stuff goes down there.
And that's in a beautiful area. Like, I cannot believe this.
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
Well, it's a nice area. It's got the outdoor space. It's a nicer Target.
I mean, it's Hollywood. Da, 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 da. So yeah,
well, that might be another crime for That's a Crime to cover at some point in time.
But. And you know what, this gets in the feels for me because I do like Target. I do. I seem to like Target.
You got on.
I find myself there. If I'm not at Target for at least a week, if I don't stop by a Target and a week goes by, something's wrong.
If I can't catch you on your cell phone, I just page you at Target. Sal Rodriguez.
Yes, and that would be whichever Target has the best collectibles section.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, so the Target from the movie I just talked about was actually in Georgia. The one from the stabbings, California. And this one we're talking about tonight is in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And this crime focuses on YouTubers Saucy and Honey.
Oh.
25-year-old Johnson Larose and 24-year-old Charlotte Fischer and their 24-hour overnight challenge in Target video.
Yeah.
And you've heard of this. We talked. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to tell you that it would never appeal to me to go to some store all night because I'm of the generation that grew up watching Twilight Zone reruns. And there was that episode where the woman goes to the department store, then gets stuck there. And then she realizes that she's a mannequin. Remember that? She's a mannequin. She's at the store all night. Remember? Yeah. So ever since then, I was like, when the stores close, good night. I'm out. It's creepy. I don't care to be here.
Yeah. It's creepy. In the movie Career Opportunities, when he was there all night as the overnight janitor, he had every light on in the place. When we get into their video, it's spooky, man. It's dark. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine doing it alone? There was 2 of them, but you couldn't pay me enough money to go stay there overnight, especially with the story you just reminded me of.
And we don't know if it's haunted. You know, there was a famous story of a haunted Toys R Us.
Yes.
There was a haunted Toys R Us. It was even on That's Incredible in the 80s.
Well, that makes it fact.
That is absolutely true. Snopes probably can confirm. But you know what? It's like, we don't know what's going to happen in this Target store. We don't know if there's some evil entity here.
No, we do not. And to your point, and slightly different, but it seems like a dicey proposition that you would go in, do something illegal, and then post it on your YouTube page, right? Not just because YouTube might take it down, but because you're incriminating yourself right then and there. And that's like a whole other, I don't know if that's the smartest thing. We're going to break the law. And here we are doing it, mocking the system. Not good. No judge is going to appreciate that.
Jason, you and I are of the generation where filming yourself committing a crime would be counterintuitive.
Yeah, not the most prudent decision, I would say. But these are 25-year-old, 24-year-old named
Saucy and Honey. Yeah, okay. If you're in your mid-20s and your name is either Saucy or Honey, who knows what your judgment is like.
You don't care about it. Any attention is good attention. So on February 21st, 2022, Larose and Fischer,
Saucy and Honey,
entered a Chester County, Pennsylvania Target store shortly before they closed at 10 p.m., which seems kind of late, but I know, hours change throughout the year, but you're a Target connoisseur by nature. Is 10 p.m. the usual cutoff for a Target?
Yes. And I also know that 10 p.m. is usually the cutoff for Target, whereas 11 or 12 oftentimes for Walmart.
Oh, now how about during the Christmas season? Does Target crank those hours up?
Well, hell, some of the
24-hour
Christmas time is your opportunity to stay all night in a Target store, completely legal. Why not just wait?
They're open, and I just wandered around.
Exactly, all night in Target. It's 4 a.m. Here I am,
legally. So went inside. Saucy and Honey went inside. They built a fort with large boxes and then hid behind them on the shelf. So they're on the shelves and these bigger, tall boxes are blocking their way, and they filmed themselves intermittently. But Sal, not on YouTube Live, or at least not the entire video, because we're YouTube Live now. It's in real time, and yes. So there might have been some of that.
We can't fake this.
Can't fake it, because the minute I hit stop, it's like that video is its own thing.
Yeah.
But so there's that. And there's a lot of things that we'll kind of dive into. But I make this point is because if you watch the 25-minute YouTube video, it's edited. And there's dramatic spots where they put score in, some special effects in the beginning, text on screen, some transitions. You start to do that, you can manipulate timelines. I know this from being a filmmaker. It's like, and you don't have to be a filmmaker to know that. But so also the fact that Fischer, Honey, she is really the narrator star of the video, and Larose, Saucy, is more of the background player, her sidekick, right? So that's their dynamic. It's always Fischer, Honey on the camera carrying the scenes. And did you see any of that at all? Did you get a reference of them? Did you see their photos?
I did. I saw the news clip. I saw their video, and it reminded me of, I think a couple did something similar, but I don't know if they actually did it or just faked it. A couple of years ago, or it would have been about 4 or 5 years ago, longer, before the closure of Toys R Us, there was some YouTubers who did something similar in a Toys R Us store.
Okay.
But again, it didn't get any press like this did. And I don't know if it was actually genuine, because you can manipulate time and make the viewer think whatever you want them to think. I don't know if it actually happened, but supposedly that couple stayed in a Toys R Us all night.
Yeah. Well, what no one knows yet, Sal, but we're doing this tonight, both from Targets. We're in a Target right now.
No, you know what it looks like? I could say I'm in some sort of collectible store. You look like you might be at what's that? The IKEA. Yeah, you look like you could be.
I'm sorry, I stand corrected. I'm in IKEA. Yeah, totally.
You're like one of those display areas.
Yeah. You just tell people where you're. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm actually at home. But hey, my home studio, but also known as IKEA. So the video starts with them in their car. So you get to see them in the parking lot setting things up. And, there are moments, Sal, that I found enjoyable because, first of all, I think this whole idea is ludicrous, but, and the fact that you're going to film it and then do it and then kind of what happens. But whatever, I went with it and enjoyed it the best I could. But they're in, so when they get inside, they're waiting. Essentially, they're there just enough time to kind of build a fort, what they're going to do, and then wait for it to close, right? So people are kind of milling around and they've got to, wait for their moment. And they eventually, hang on a second. So eventually get out. Oh yeah, that's right. So sorry, my notes were a little wonky there, but they're milling around looking for that. And I imagine that our master shoplifter from another episode, Michael Polera, would have done some amazing things with his boxing stuffing techniques. With the size of these boxes, they were barricading themselves in with Sal. Now, we don't know if he ever hit a target, but he definitely went rampant at tons of different stores, but primarily Toys R Us. I think he hit every Toys R Us across the country.
He did, and they found him out because he put in his rewards phone number every time he went.
He was raw. He was going to explain quickly the stuffing technique, the box stuffing technique.
Oh yeah, so this guy from one of our previous episodes on That's a Crime went all over the place, especially Toys R Us, and he would get like a cheap toy, dump it out, and get an expensive toy and put the expensive toy inside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or whatever you can cram in there. Some of them could be electronics. Cram it in there so that the ladies will scan a cheap item, but meanwhile it's full of expensive items. And then he would do this diversion tactic with a bottle, with a wet water bottle, so they wouldn't want to touch.
They didn't want to touch the box.
He had the whole thing.
He had it
worked out. So in defense of this couple, today, Saucy and Honey.
Right.
They were not there to steal.
No, because they could have done it all. They had hours at their disposal and they could have done it. I just saw those things. I was like, oh my gosh, Michael would have loved this opportunity. No, they were there for very different reasons, for a challenge, trying to get likes and this, that, and the other.
Now, Jason, I want to be absolutely clear to our listeners. I don't want to come off as a fuddy-duddy. I have nothing against pranks. Yeah. If it's fun, and especially fun and funny are my buzzwords. If it's fun, if it's funny, go ahead. As a matter of fact, I wanted to do some sort of prank to build notoriety and exposure. When we were in the Middle East, we were touring military bases doing stand-up comedy in the Middle East, and the U.S. government has deals with these other countries called SOFA agreement, and a SOFA is like an acronym, SOFA. It stands for something, but what it means is that if us as Americans go to another country and get in trouble, the governments will work it out to send you back home. It's called a SOFA agreement. So we'd be out in the Middle East, and they'd be like, be sure you behave yourself when you go off the base, because we don't have a SOFA agreement with this country. Wow. So the implication was, if you got arrested, the U.S. can't do anything. Their hands are tied. That's the idea. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting if one of us did do something silly, got arrested here in Oman or wherever the heck we are at that time of the year? We get some notoriety, we get some press, comedian held by this government. I mean, it could potentially make us famous. So I wanted to do some sort of stupid prank to get some exposure. None of the other comics wanted to. No. But I wanted to. In the end, I didn't do it. But anyway, I am in favor of pranks. I got nothing against them, but you have to measure the cost to risk value.
Reward. Yeah.
Yeah, cost to reward. Exactly.
Yeah. Probably good idea not to follow through with that, Sal. You may not have become the co-host of any of the Just Curious Media.
It could have ended very bad.
Not good. Not good. Oh man. So now we kind of do these cuts, and the passage of time begins to happen in this video, because like I said, it's kind of well put together, and eventually they're showing us a phone, because they're wandering around Target. This reminds me of career opportunities. There's mannequins. There's even a mannequin, and one is pretending to be a mannequin. They got nothing but time on their hands because they don't have an agenda. It's not like, hey, we got in here now, we can go crack the safe. They're just killing time. And Sal, when you have nothing to do, it just stands still.
Yeah.
It's not when you're busy, it just flies. But when you have nothing to do, it's like, oh my, you stare at a clock, it doesn't move. So they eventually walk around and they show a phone, because they're filming on one. They have two phones. It's like 1 a.m. So they head back to the fort for some rest. So they've been in there, figured 10, 11, 12, 3 hours. And I should also point out that the Target intercom with music and announcement just continues to play intermittently throughout the night, which is creepy and also just unsettling. So they just leave that stuff on. It kind of comes on every now and again. The music's kind of playing and just kind of weird. And some of their video, though, it looked like lights were on, and then later, maybe in their fort, it's really dark. Maybe that's what it was. Like certain lights, maybe floodlights were on, and in their fort, it's, a lot darker.
I wonder what kind of music they were playing, because I found myself at Target in Van Nuys a few months ago, and it's like 11 a.m., right? And I'm in Target, and the music was like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, really? Yeah. Like techno at 11 at Target?
They don't know their clientele. Or maybe they do.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I like techno. Not at 11 a.m. at Target. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So next they start to hear these weird noises. And this leads them, them into like this scary mode. And there's a scary moment watching this, like, yeah, that is weird. Like a beep, beep, beep. Maybe someone's going around with a scanner, something. But I love that they're going to go check it out. So they're playing to the camera. They're placating to their audience. Like, sure, we're going to go check it out. And that's like saying, I'll be right back in a bad horror movie. Sal.
Yes.
And of course I learned that from rule number 3 from Randy, who was played by Jamie Kennedy in Wes Craven's Scream, 1996. And rule number 1 was you can never have sex. Rule number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. So ironically, this is a sidebar, I did see Jamie Kennedy smoke weed at a Beastie Boys concert at the Greek Theater years ago. So there's that. Comes full circle when you live in Los Angeles.
He meant like in a horror movie, right?
Yeah, in a horror movie. If someone says, I'll be right back, and they get killed. And those are his top 3 rules.
Well, Jason, since it's just you and I've heard a lot of things about Jamie Kennedy, and smoking weed would be the least of them.
Yeah, well, hey, I was just bringing it back around. But anyway, so they go out and they're going to go check this noise out, which is okay. I get it. You can't just sit there all night. What kind of video is that? Like, hey, are you tired? I'm tired. Yeah, we're both tired.
You got to have some hijinks.
We need some excitement. So, but when they get up, nothing happens on this scouting mission because no one's there, which is also strange, Sal, because I would have thought there had been some overnight stalkers or.
How about that?
Yeah. Stalkers, not stalkers.
That's STOCK.
Yeah.
Like you ever find yourself at the grocery store late at night and they got there. People doing this.
But groceries are different. I get it. First in, first out. You got to keep it going. Target, you could stalk during the day. Essentially.
Sure.
But there's not even an overnight janitor like Jim from Career Opportunities. There was like just nothing happening.
And no security. It's like don't stores have like a night watchman anymore? Doesn't that exist?
It's unbelievable. Yeah, nothing going on. So they can kind of come and go from their fort. They're not really worried about too much, but other than those noises, which turn to be nothing. So now we see them in the fort and more time has passed. Right. More time. And they show another clock, the phone. It's 4:29. So we've now jumped ahead 3.5 more hours. And then it's 5:44 a.m. And it's 5:44 a.m. and they look exhausted. I mean, really tired, Sal. Like, when you it's like you get in your car late at night from LA to drive to Vegas and it's like Vegas, like in Swingers. And then a couple hours later, it's like Vegas, you're just, it's washed over you. They look like that.
Yeah.
But they're not too tired, Sal, to push for 50,000 likes on the video. They're like, I hope this gets us 50,000. Yeah, they're just begging for likes. Meanwhile, last time I looked, this video had 4,000 likes. So they're off their numbers. But again, when you're just doing it for that, that's the agenda. It's not authentic, but just my assessment.
Well, I know as someone who's put up plenty of YouTube videos that you have to have what's called the realistic expectations, Totally. So I think the implication is that have they had videos that have had 50,000 likes?
That I don't know. But
because that I'd like to know.
Last time I did, let me go back up in here. They had 177,000 views. Now that's not likes. They were asking for likes. This video, last time I looked, so it's a few days ago, 177,000 views, and their subscriber base was 22,000. So again, those numbers are probably up some because there has been some buzz on this story, but whatever, it is what it is. But next we jump in time again, another 3-hour jump just about, and it's 8:42 a.m. and the Target, Sal, opened at 8 a.m. And make a note of that. Okay. So we've done a couple of these leaps in time.
Okay. Here's where I start to get a little skeptical.
Yeah. Well, me too. That's why I kept watching their video. And then what I find out later we'll get there. We see Larose and Fischer.
Oh, Saucy and Honey. Yes. I was like, why are you pausing? Yes.
In their fort, and customers are already in the Target, Sal. So they slowly make their way out of the fort with their COVID mask on, right? Put those on. That's a good way to get away with things, right? Just put that mask on. Not a ski mask. No. Just a mask.
Sure. Blend in,
and they exit the store, celebrating the entire way to the car, And so, but this, Sal, this is where it gets interesting and controversial.
Yeah. Because one thing I would imagine is that if you are going to do a prank like this, there will be pivotal points on the clock that you may want to document to give assurance to your viewer that this is legit,
authentic. Yes.
And I would absolutely imagine that there was that wonderful time between 8 and 8:45, and all of a sudden it's like you should be filming at that time.
Yeah.
Let's see them unlock the door. How about that?
Well, not to mention, did you just sleep in and it's 8:42 and it's like, oh gosh, people are here. I'm not buying it. Watch the video. You can just tell body language, perception. Did they really sleep there all night? And I'm telling you, when I saw those tired eyes, like super tired. Yeah, anyway, the time looks like it was manufactured some. So here's what I found out. Our episode is entitled YouTubers Attempt to Spend All Night in Target Store. But according to Saucy and Honey, the video, they were successful because like I just said, video goes up to 8:40. They walk out of the store, success. But perhaps we should omit attempt to from our title based on their findings, right? Well, this is why it belongs in there, Sal. This is why attempt to belongs. According to the West Whiteland Township Police, an emergency exit at the Target store was tripped around 3 a.m. Officers were called to the location, searched the building all over the premises, but did not find anyone. And this, Sal, is where the plot thickens.
I'm in suspense. I am.
Yeah, it's not like they went by and missed them in a fort. You know, I'm assuming that the place was probably empty. And the next day, police say Target employees found surveillance video showing a man and woman wandering aimlessly around the store for hours, which they obviously did. They stayed there till lights out, were walking around, having their career opportunities moments with their phones out. All that's on video. No mask on because they're just themselves.
Yeah.
The intruders didn't take anything during their time inside the store. And so that was also like, what's going on here? They don't know what they're seeing, right? And then police detective Scott Pizik stated, and go ahead, Sal, what did he have to say?
It became a little bit bigger of an investigation, trying to find out what they were doing. Was there something criminal?
Yeah, because again, you're looking at this video going, what is their MO here? What is their modus operandi? What are they doing?
It's almost like, though, in today's age, I mean, we've become such a jaded culture.
Yeah.
It's like, what can anyone do that would actually make us gasp or surprise us?
Yeah, true.
Of course, people are wandering around aimlessly in a store all night. Of course, that's what people do in 2022.
Yeah, it's a little perplexing, but it's not dangerous. I'm not saying that. This isn't the worst thing ever. It's just not the smartest thing ever. You got to know, with the lack of security, as you just said, see those things up in the air, the eyes in the sky, on the ceiling there, they're watching your every move. You got to know that. Just assume that's happening. If they are walking down the street without a neighbor picking you up on a Ring camera, you're going to be seen in a Target store. Sorry.
Well, Ring cameras are live. Yes. Okay. You can see the live feed.
Yes.
Okay.
And alerts go off. Yeah.
Okay. I think most security cameras in store, the surveillance camera, you can look at the footage for the next day.
Yeah. But you have to,
but no one's sitting there. No, I know, but no one's sitting there watching it live.
No.
Like once upon a time, we thought someone's watching closed circuit television.
Well,
someone's
maybe
sitting
in
there
Vegas.
watching. Okay. So what happens in Vegas does stay in Vegas, because I think, nobody's watching these cameras right now.
No.
After the fact, if they know or think a crime occurred, yes, they can watch them. Absolutely. But not at the time.
No, but I'm surprised they don't think that could happen. Also, I'm also surprised there's no motion sensor of some sort, just something to trip an alarm. But anyway, we know an alarm did go off, but that's when you open up an emergency exit.
Yes.
So hang on, where were we here? Police say although Larose and Fischer claim they stayed inside the Target all night, police say they actually left through that emergency exit around 3 a.m. when the alarm was tripped. And
I think it's hilarious, Jason. Jason, you know what this is? The police are throwing shade.
Yeah, they are throwing shade. Exactly. And the police also claim they were not hiding in the fort. They did it. They scanned the area, looked everywhere. And furthermore, police stated that Larose and Fischer then returned to the store around 8 a.m. to resume the video. And so this makes perfect sense when you watch the video, and the sheer fact that they would wait until 8:42, like I said, because you know why? The door had to open at 8. They had to go back to their fort and wait for a good time to go in to turn the, camera back on, then to exit. I mean, that's plausible. That makes sense to me. They needed time to plot their moment to get back out. And so as far as those 4 and 5 a.m., like 4:29, 5:44, they just adjusted the time on one of the phones.
Can you adjust your time on your phone?
Yeah, of course.
You can? Okay. I mean, I've never tried it, because it just, when you turn it on, you
Why
put
would
it up,
you?
the time,
Why would you?
You cross a state line, or daylight savings time.
Could also be just done on the video, but that's obviously because when they looked wiped out, what probably happened, they said, what is it, 2 o'clock in the morning? I'm wiped. Here's what we're going to do. let's get out of here and we'll come back and finish this thing tomorrow. Right. And then they
Yeah.
tripped it at 3 a.m. And obviously if they're showing us different times, obviously that's what happened.
And then they came back after 8 a.m. after the store opened and walked around. Yeah. You know what? As lame as this challenge is, it's not as lame as the milk crate challenge from recent times, where people would stack milk crates into the shape of a pyramid and then walk from one side over to the other. By the way, I saw no shortage of these videos. I watched them. I did. So yeah, as stupid as this one is, not as stupid as that one anyway.
Well, that one can get you hurt. This one can actually get you in trouble. And we're getting to
you look at the possibilities. The possibilities are arrest, right?
Yeah,
that's arrest. Is for sure a possibility. You don't know, some cop going in there, gun happy, trigger happy.
Exactly.
Why put yourself in that situation is all I'm saying.
You're exactly right. So again, when we were seeing the 4 and 5 a.m. screens, they were most likely, Saucy and Honey were most likely in their bed at the time, home sleeping, not in the fort. So much like the stabbing episode of That's a Crime, which we talked about earlier, it was a chaotic scene. Remember that, with people running in and out of the store, bad information, much like what your friend talked about yesterday.
Yeah. Yes.
In fact, what was a stabbing in that episode, people didn't know. They thought it was a shooting at first. There was a lot of bad information that, that was several years ago, over a decade ago.
Yeah.
But much like this could have been a much worse situation. It's a very benign thing. However, like, police go in, they don't know what they're seeing, draws a gun, someone's got a phone in their hand. And yeah, this funny little gag, this to get a bunch of likes, turns deadly. And so Detective Pisak also stated, go ahead, Sal.
When you go to a burglary call, you have a heightened sense of awareness. Suddenly, you see somebody in there, or maybe they get spooked and run. Our officers are well trained, but it's not a great situation for anybody. They weren't out to harm anybody, but we want to make sure this doesn't happen again. That's a pleasant officer.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. Like, this could have been bad for everybody. We can't let this be the first of countless times this is going to happen. So what do? You got to make an example out of somebody. And to his point, Johnson, Larose, and Charlotte Fischer were identified on the surveillance video, arrested, and are facing third-degree criminal trespassing charges, which could result in up to 7 years in prison. Now, that most likely won't happen, but that potentially could happen. And they have been released on $25,000 unsecured bail and have been banned from Target stores across Pennsylvania. They are expected in court again March 24th, 2022, which is
that's today.
So we will have to see what happens. And
we just got to watch their YouTube channel and we can see what happens.
YouTube
right?
channel. They bring it right into the court case.
I think that they should. Their punishment should be. It's one of those things. Do you remember where on the Simpsons episode, Homer goes to hell, and then the devil's like, "Oh, you love donuts? Well, have all the donuts in the world."
Exactly.
But Homer loves it, right? Oh, you want to be at Target? Okay, 7 years at Target every night from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for 7 years.
That's awesome. You got to live in Target with this music and the PA system.
You have no choice in music. Yeah. You have no choice.
Oh my, that's great, Sal. Well, Fischer, Honey, had something to say. And okay, this is her take. Again, young YouTuber, so she looks at things very differently. But go ahead, Sal. What does Honey have to say?
You know why I love this? Because what she says, I think, speaks for a generation.
Totally.
Honey says, I mean, no regrets, just living life and having fun. It's kind of sad that all of this came out of it. We were expecting a fine, nothing crazy.
Maybe 50,000 likes. Nothing. We're not going to hurt anybody.
Well, okay, let's go back to the $25,000 unsecured bail, which implies there was no home put up for collateral or anything. It's just like you give them 25,000. Is that all that is? Like you give them 25K and then you bounce and then you come back, right?
I guess so.
I've never heard the term unsecured bail.
Yeah, I don't know. No bail bondsman. I'm not sure, but they don't think they're going to bounce town because they just go to the YouTube channel and find them.
Yeah, exactly.
We're over here now, but
now we're at Walmart tonight. How about that?
Yeah, I think, Sal, the prank aside, I really don't have a problem with it. You're going to get caught, slap on the wrist. I think I'm most disappointed by the facade.
Yes.
Pulled off. I think that irks me the most.
Jason, let me share this with you. And this goes back to YouTube again. You know, on my YouTube channel, Salvador Los Angeles, I like to be authentic and real, just like when you and I podcast. You know, it's real. We're not phony. So I wanted to review a action figure, and it was the American Werewolf in London official werewolf action figure. It just came out. I love it. People were excited about it. I said, I'm going to review this, but not only am I going to review this on my YouTube channel, I'm going to review this figure during the wolf moon, which we had recently.
Yes.
And that was my plan. Well, guess what? Things didn't align properly. It did not happen. So someone says to me though, well, hey, Sal, just say you reviewed it during the wolf moon. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to fake that. I'm not going to, hey, I'm reviewing this during the full moon, and I'm not.
No.
Who does that?
Yeah.
You know who does that?
Saucy and Honey.
There you go.
Yeah. No, good for you, Sal. I do remember that. I didn't know how that turned out, but yeah, I'm the same way. If I know it's fake, then, you know, I don't have the energy. I feel like I'm just trying to trick people. And that's what really irks me. I'm disappointed that they would try to pull the wool over our eyes. And it was just so obvious. And then to know that they tripped the alarm, to not even think the fact that they're on surveillance, and then they got arrested. So yeah, you know, I hope they learn from this. Pranks are okay, but, you know, be smart and don't try to fool your audience. I'm sorry. Just
because you know what?
Night. You know they could have, Sal. They could have got away with it. I've been more proud of them if they just slept there and just said, you know, this sucks. That's what happened. They just got tired of it.
Yeah.
And
they got bored of their own prank.
They got bored and like, you know, no one's going to know. And that got them busted.
Yeah. And you know what? When you look at the comments on their YouTube video,
right?
Oh, believe me, lots of people
they're hearing from it.
Lots of people hating and throwing shade.
Yeah. See, I'm not a hater. I'm just telling you my thoughts. You know, do your own thing. But it popped up on That's a Crime, so we do have an opinion. And yeah, I'm anxious to see what they got. There's no way they get 7 years in prison. I mean,
no way.
Had they stolen everything in the store,
they still wouldn't have got 7 years in prison.
That's a long time, but they're going to get community service. I don't even know if there'll be jail time. They're banned forever, and maybe not sentence them to target living, but maybe they could do something good with their, you know, channel or some sort of something that the judge could come up with to make it to push them in the right direction.
Well, you know, like what they do with these celebrities, like if a celebrity gets in trouble, then they can have them like go on the speaking circuit, like at schools.
Exactly.
They can do something like that. Like they can have them do like a public service announcement.
Yeah, something, you know,
or what if Target flips it and is like, no one loves Target more than Saucy and Honey. That's right. We were willing to risk it all to stay here all night.
Yeah, I mean, we can't get them out of our store. Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, that is it. It's a lighter crime, Sal, but it does speak to a different generation. A lot of challenges. There's probably a lot more of these coming. And unfortunately, Sal, sometimes you get one and they want to raise the bar to here and here. And I hate to say it, but there could be a dark one coming when things go bad. I mean, again, if cops came in there, guns blazing, that's a whole other situation.
Yeah. There could be like a prank gone wrong would be like in the genre of selfie gone wrong. You take a selfie, you fall off a cliff, you do a prank, you get shot by a cop. Could happen.
It happens.
Could happen.
Yeah. So that's it. That covers it. The YouTubers attempt to spend all night in Target store in 2022. And attempt to does stay in the title.
Thank you. No, because we are real, because we are genuine. Jace, to all of our listeners, if you see me in Target with a red shirt, say hello.
Yeah. And ask Sal where the toys are at, because he will be in that section.
Where are the adult collectibles? In the entertainment section.
So that's all I got, Sal. Anything else to add before we sign off?
No, thank you. I want to say thank you. This was fun. I had a good time tonight.
Me too. So unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code thatsacrime at manscaped.com.
So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to the That's a Crime podcast, as well as the That's a Crime YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any That's a Crime social media platform.
We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com. Great job.
Thank you.